HD2 New York.
Michael K. is on the radio today, and he ain't afraid to say what he's thinking. It's the Michael K. Show on 880 ESPN Radio.
And a good afternoon, everybody. This is indeed the Michael K. Show. We thank you for joining us on this Thursday. It's March 19th. It's 2026. It's me and you for two. Those are the rules of engagement. It's the fastest 2 hours in sports talk radio. I'm glad that you could be part of that run. And you know you're also the co-host at 1-800-919-3776. 1-800-919-3776. NCAA tournament is starting right now. It's beginning. There are games that are ongoing, and that'll be the case all day today and tomorrow, Saturday and Sunday, and then reset next week for Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So we're going to keep an eye on those games, and any late-breaking scores or close games, we'll try to get that to you as soon as possible. Now, right before the show began, you heard the promo for Mets baseball for the upcoming season. And you heard Howie Rose say, put it in the books, which is his call for when the Mets win a game. And I think Howie shocked and saddened a lot of Met fans, not just Met fans, but baseball fans, when he released a video through the Mets on their social media platform that the 2026 season was, in fact, going to be his last year calling games. And that one's tough. This one stings just a little bit. He's 72 years old, and over the last couple of years, he has certainly dealt with some health issues. He's persevered. He sounds unbelievable on the radio. You know, I sent him a message today that, you know, he is indeed the gold standard for our business, particularly on the radio. You know, coming home from Yankee games, if the Met game's still on, I listen. And you pick things up, even when you've been in the business as long as Howie has and I have. You do pick things up by listening to other broadcasters that are so good. And he's so great. His voice is so identifiable with Met baseball. And I believe that simply because of the fact that he has endeared himself so much to Met fans and grew up as a Met fan and grew up in Queens and has an encyclopedic knowledge of the team, that his voice and his name is as synonymous with the Mets as the names of Tom Seaver and Darryl Strawberry and Doc Gooden and Mike Piazza and David Wright. And we can go on, and Nolan Ryan and Gary Gentry and Cleon Jones. Yeah, he is that important to the firmament of the Mets. And I hope that he has an incredibly wonderful, enjoyable year. And the message that I sent him, I said, there's always still time to change your mind. Because I can only imagine how difficult a decision like that is. You know, in his video, he mentioned that it's time to spend more time with his wife. She's sacrificed a lot. And, we talked in the booth at Citi Field last year, and he said, none of us go on forever. And, I want to spend more time with my family, and it's difficult doing that. Now, the Mets have certainly done everything they could to make it easy for him, because this year he's doing only home games. He's not traveling, and the 3 games at Yankee Stadium in the Subway Series. So that's a total of 84 games, and he's also scheduled to call every single postseason game, home and away, if the Mets make the postseason and they move on. So I wish him only happiness, and Howie's going to come on with us at 2 o'clock. And you're more than welcome to share your memories and some of your thoughts about him. But his voice to me, when I'm sitting in the car, and that's really when I consume him the most after a Yankee game, and as I said, and the Mets are still on, or if they have a game in the Central Time Zone, and this is when he was traveling, and so they're in the 7th inning when I get in the car. His voice is lyrical. It almost seems like he's singing the game to you, and that's an incredible skill. His weaving in of stories and stats and facts, and as I said, his institutional knowledge of Met history starting from the day that they were born. It's incredible. Now, you're going to get people that are going to fill that role, but you are not going to get people that are going to be able to do it like that. You're not going to get a 72-year-old man that has followed the Mets his entire life. And he knows Met history inside and out. Again, at his fingertips, something happens, and he could tie it to something that happened in 1974 or 1965. Institutional knowledge, and that's important. There are people that get jobs broadcasting for teams, and they come from other places, and they do their homework, and they do the best that they can in trying to ingrain themselves in the history of that team. It's not easy unless you grew up with it, unless you have it in your soul like Howie does. It's not that easy. So I give a lot of credit for those that get a job in another city and make themselves part of the soundtrack of that team's life. But Howie Rose, it's a different breed, man. Just like Gary. Gary grew up a Met fan. Howie grew up a Met fan. They both have the knowledge at their fingertips. There's no looking up. There's no scrolling social media or going to Google or something like that. They don't have to do that because it's in their soul, and that's something important. And the Mets have had a history throughout their time of a deep-seated love for their broadcasters. Met fans their broadcasters are as famous as their players. And it's not like that everywhere. It's just not. It started with the trio of Lindsey Nelson and Bob Murphy and Ralph Kiner, and they were there for so long. And Howie began his run with the Mets in 89. And I believe that Gary began his in 92. So they have been there forever. So names like Gary Cohen and Howie Rose and Tim McCarver and Murphy, Kiner, and Nelson, that's as much a part of the Mets as anything. As Choo-Choo Coleman, as Ed Kranepool. Met fans adore their announcers because their announcers are part of the soundtrack of their lives. So when I saw the video by Howie today, there was a part of me that was sad because I'm not finished listening to him. So I'll get at least 84 games, and anything that they do in the playoffs, I'll get at least those games to just soak it all in. He is that good. Even if you're a Yankee fan, you have to admit that Howie Rose is one of the voices of summer. So in the last couple of years, think about it, we have seen leave the air iconic voices like John Sterling and Howie Rose. And I think that in their last go-round, you have to appreciate exactly what they meant and how good they were and how they are the voices of summer. Radio's a different thing. Radio and baseball are tied together. They really are. You can take a radio onto the beach, barbecue, pool, party, when you're in your car. They are your friend. They go with you all the time, every single place. It's different in television. You have to essentially be in one place to consume the television. Now with the technology, I guess you could bring an iPad, but it's hard to see a game with the sun shining on the beach. You don't have to see the game visually when you listen to Howie Rose on the radio. He brings the game alive. He paints a picture, and you know exactly what's going on without squinting at a screen trying to see what's happening in the game. He'll let you know. He'll let you know. He is that good. And the amazing thing about Howie's career is that, he's so synonymous with the Mets, but probably his most famous call of all was Mato, Mato, Mato. So his greatness has touched the lives of Islander fans, of Ranger fans. He called that 1994 season when they won the Stanley Cup. And obviously, Met fans. So he stopped doing hockey in 2016 because it just became too much heavy lifting to do both, and now has dedicated himself to his craft, which he has expertly refined. The voice is so special. The voice is Met baseball. And as I said, when you listen to him, it's lyrical. It truly is lyrical. And I don't know a better way to describe it, as if it really sounds as if he's singing to you. And obviously he's not singing, but the voice is so perfect for the sport. And when we get him on at 2 o'clock, I will definitely try to talk him out of it. I don't think I will. I don't think I can, but I'll try because he still has his fastball. It's not like he's being forced out. Hopefully his health is fine. And I guess there's something to be said for leaving on top. And he's certainly done that because he's that good. 1-800-919-3776. Let's go to the phones. Let's go to Spencer in East Windsor. Why don't you start off, Spence?
Hey, Mike, 27-year New York Yankees season ticket holder, lifelong fan going over 40 years. I love Howie Rose. I follow him on Twitter. I listen to the games specifically always with the hope to hear Howie Rose. Howie Rose is not just a New York Mets announcer, but he's a fan of the Mets since 1962. I know you have a lot of questions for him today, but if I had one chance to meet Howie Rose, I would love to ask him what it was like at that very first Mets playoff game in 1969 against the Braves when Hank Aaron hit a home run and hit not the foul pole, but he hit the flagpole in the outfield. If I had one thing to ask him,
I'll ask him.
It's a tremendous loss, but I wish him congratulations. Thanks for the phone call, Mike.
You got it. You absolutely have it, and I have it written down. I will ask him that question. Let's go to Phil in Brooklyn. I know Phil's a Met fan. Hey, Phil.
I'm 33.
Hey,
I
Phil.
grew up watching or listening to Howie on TV, if that makes any sense. I actually like it better than Gary Cohen, I have to be honest. Howie Rose, like you said, he sings the game to you. And I'm going to miss him. And he was really good with the Islanders, too. Not an Islander fan. He wasn't an Islander fan, but you couldn't tell because the way he just called the game, I'm going to miss him. And he's going to get the biggest ovation on Thursday.
Oh, I agree. And if you know how the Mets feel about him, Phil, because if there's a ceremony, Howie Rose is the guy on the field. And he's the opening day MC and any kind of number retirement, anything like that where a player's being honored, it's the voice and the presence of Howie Rose. And the good thing that, I see in all the things I've been reading is they still going to be part of those things. Maybe he'll come back for opening day. Maybe he'll come back for all the special presentations and a lovely statement released by Stephen Alex Cohen about how much Howie Rose means to Met fans. See, again, I hope that you don't think I'm waxing too poetic, but he's so special. I mean, it's such a special quality that he has about him. And you just heard, the first caller. If you're a baseball fan, you don't have to be a Met fan. Listening to a Met fan listening to a Met game on the radio is so relaxing. It really is. I mean, you just feel like, okay, here's sunshine coming through the speakers. Yeah, he's that good. And his hockey work is exemplary as well. Let's go to Greg in the work truck. Hello, Greg.
My good buddy Michael, how are you, sir?
I'm good. How are you?
Mostly spectacular. This Howie Rose retirement, to me, and I hope you let me tell a quick small story, it feels like a part of Met fans, and me in particular, is being taken away from us, but it's also not unexpected that he's calling it a career. There's a story that I've had that part of me regrets in this sense. I met him, Howie Rose, at an Islander game. I believe it was one of the Barclays Center games. I met him, fantastic man, and the one thing I regret, I never got a picture with him, but he was such an amazing person to have a conversation with that's just my one regret that's going to stick with me for the rest of my life.
Well, he's going to be around, Greg. So obviously, you have all year to get to Citi Field or those 3 games at Yankee Stadium. He's such an endearing guy. And one of the things that I love when the Yankees play the Mets is that at least once in the series, I go in and Keith Rad might be doing something. And by the way, Keith is outstanding. And I'll sit down and we'll just talk. We'll just shoot the breeze. He's good company. And I think that's the best thing that you could say about a broadcaster is that they're good company. If they're good company and you feel like there's a friend telling you about what's going on, then they've done their job. Let's go to Jimmy in Staten Island. Jim.
Mike, you know what makes Howie great? He's had a lot of partners over the years, and he makes them all excellent. But my favorite one with him was Josh Lowell, because they always reference, like, the honeymooners, the odd couple stuff that, like, we grew up with.
Josh Lewin?
Yeah, that's right. I'm sorry. Right, that was him. Right. He was one of my favorites with him. But the reason why the Mets fans love their announcers is because I grew up with the three guys of, Lindsey, Bob, and Ralph, and they did both sides, Mike. They did the TV and the radio, so they just rotated. So that's all you heard. So that's what made them so special. And then Howie started off on TV himself, and then he became the radio voice.
Yeah, he was the announcer on Sports Channel, and then when SNY came into existence, they went with Gary. So Gary left the radio. That's where he started, and then Howie went to the radio. I grew up like that too. Lindsay and Bob Murphy and Ralph Kiner, they rotated between the radio and the TV, and that's what happened with Phil Rizzuto and Frank Messer and Bill White. That's what they did. And somewhere along the line, teams got away from that. But, and most announcers back then, most every announcer did 162 games. So you definitely were part of the family. Let's go to Jamie in Yonkers. Jamie.
Hey, Michael, how are you today?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm mixed emotions, quite frankly, with this news. I'm 52 years old, and I had a bedtime. I think kids these days tend to not have bedtimes, but I had a bedtime of 8 o'clock. And listen, I couldn't watch the Mets on TV, so I ended up listening to Howie on the radio. I almost think this announcement transcends sports. It's almost, to me, the equivalent, because I'm a Mets fan, of Warren Buffett retiring from Berkshire Hathaway this past year.
Right. Oh, I hear you. This is, if you're a Met fan, this is like one of your favorite players retiring. Think about that. And if you're lucky enough to be a fan of a team and there's a player that's there for 20 years, oh my goodness, how lucky you got. Like with Yankee fans with Derek Jeter. That's it. That's the only team he played for. Well, Howie Rose has exceeded that. So that's why, teams really value a gift like a Howie Rose in the booth, because you're gonna outlast the players. You're gonna be as associated with the team as any of the players because you're there longer. So if you have a long run like Howie has and like Gary has, you become really, really important to the brand. And every time, like I've seen Howie at the ballpark, you just see when Steve Cohen is there, Steve Cohen is always around Howie. You could see that there's an affection there, and he realizes how valuable Howie Rose is to the Met brand. Think about it. That's the spokesman for your brand. Your broadcaster is the spokesman for your brand. And Howie Rose never made any bones about the fact that he wants the Mets to win. He's a Met fan. But he never, ever gave them a pass when they didn't do something well. He made sure that he told you that they should have done that better. And that's how you gain the respect of your audience. That's how you do it. Let's go to Manny in Flushing. Manny?
Hey, Mike, how you doing, sir?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, man. Listen, I'm not a Mets fan per se, but I'm a Yankee fan. But I want to give my gratitude to salute to your friend Howie Rose. I mean, been there for a long time. Wish him like you. I wish him nothing but the best. I know your boy Mike Green is he's not happy when he heard the news because he is a huge Mets fan. But I want to congratulate you of your 24 years of being Yes. I mean, I just want to congratulate you for your 24 years of Yes. I'm going to ask you this personally. You ever thought if that TV station will last that long?
I mean, that was certainly the hope. But if you remember those times, Manny, we started the Yes. This was the day that we started. It was the Yankees against the Reds, a night game. That was the first thing that was on Yes. And we weren't carried. I guess it was Cablevision. Yeah, we weren't carried on Cablevision, which was a huge part of the footprint of the area, and we just weren't on. So to think, 25 years later, we're about to start year 25. I don't think we thought that far along. I mean, we just if we weren't going to get on Cablevision, I don't know if we could have survived. I just don't know if we could have survived. And we were off Cablevision the first year. And so you sit back, everybody involved with the endeavor, you needed that footprint or that part of the footprint to be covered. And remember, MSG lost the Yankees when the Yankees decided to begin Yes. And MSG was owned by Cablevision. So they certainly had a method to their madness. And they would not clear the Yankees and the Yes Network on Cablevision. And finally, politicians got involved, and it happened. And, when we do our first game, which is the second game of the year, next week in San Francisco, that'll be our 25th season. So, Manny, to be honest with you, I don't know if we dreamed that big. We just wanted to get through. We just wanted to get through that year and hopefully be picked up by Cablevision, because if it didn't happen, in all likelihood, I guess they would have had to disband the network and accept a bigger offer from MSG. It's funny, MSG had the opportunity. George Steinbrenner, I don't know at the time if he had the appetite to take this risk. Now, there are people that advised him that said this could be much more lucrative than even the most lucrative contract that MSG can give you to extend. The contract. I think they signed a 12-year deal with them that ended in 2021, and he was more inclined to accept the sure thing. And like the Dolan family, they kind of dragged their feet, and they didn't think that he was going to start his own network. And then he decided to start his own network. And we actually have it on social media today, the opening of that game. It seems, as I said on Twitter, it seems like such a long time ago. That might even seem longer than like 24 years, but it also seems like it was yesterday. But then when I see video of that opening, where you see me kind of setting up the network, I look maybe 40 years younger than I do. So in 24 years, I've aged a 40. But it's been a great ride. Jimmy in Connecticut. Jimmy?
Hey, Michael. How's it going? Congratulations on the anniversary. I've been so a quick story for you. I was only 8 years old in 2002, so I was just getting into sports, kind of being of that age. And I remember one of the first conversations I had with my dad was before the 03 season. I don't know if you remember, Cablevision almost didn't secure the deal for the 03 season either.
Yeah,
they were close
I
to
know.
not
Came
being
very
Yankee
close.
games. It was close. And so going into that season, I was like, Dad, I really want to start watching the Yankees. And he's like, Jimmy, I don't know if we're going to get their games. So it was a relief when the news came out that they were going to be broadcast on Cablevision. And I've never looked back since. I've had a lot of great memories. I just want to say that you're the best in the business, and I'm glad I get to continue to hear your voice on Yankee broadcast. I'm really excited for this season. I'm hoping we can finally secure 28, and I feel good about the team.
Well, thank you, Jimmy, and thank you for the nice words. I don't know if I'd put myself on that level, but I'm glad that you think that way. And a quick story. I'd done the radio for 10 years with John, and I've told the story before. And if you told me, well, in 2026, you'd still be on the radio with John, I would have signed up for it. I had no thought that I was ever going to be on TV. I did not know the people that were starting the Yes Network. I just didn't. And bam, all of a sudden, John Filippelli, who was starting the network, offered me this gig. And I took the job. And I remember my mom was getting older at the time, and she was kind of in the early throes of dementia, which eventually took her life. And she was in an area that Cablevision was the cable system. She could not watch me on TV, and she had been listening to every game for those 10 years. And when I would go and see her every day or whatever, she would yell at me. You had a great thing, and you screwed it up. Why'd you do it? You're too big for your britches. You had to go to TV. You're not even on TV. I said, Mom, I'm not on your TV, but I am on other TVs. Stupid move. You had the radio. It was a sure thing, and you decided to reach too high. And, she's saying this stuff, and I'm kind of thinking this stuff, like, if this doesn't work out, wow, this is not great. But then she did get to see that it was on Cablevision the next year. And as our previous caller said, it came close to not. It came close to not being on TV. A couple of WBC notes when we get back. Remember, we're going to have Howie Rose with us at 2 o'clock. So I look forward to that. We'll talk about some of his memories and some of the thought process that went into saying, okay, 2026, that's going to be the last year that I broadcast. So we'll see what Howie has to say about that. Hey, it's Michael K. And I love when I get to talk about my friends at PC Richard & Son. It's a local company, family owned, and I trust them, and you should too. Right now, get tax season savings up to 35% off select categories, plus save an additional 8.875% off hundreds of items throughout the store. And in-home delivery is free. Great savings, great service. It's what they do. Get tax season savings at PC Richard & Son today. Some exclusions apply. Free delivery on mattresses $399 and up. Excludes Manhattan.
March is here and the madness is underway. Schweppes offers above-the-rim refreshment and is proud to sponsor the Big East Conference. Take a break from the action with a Schweppes seltzer. Enjoy 7 refreshing flavors such as black cherry, lemon lime, cranberry lime, and strawberry mango. Each Schweppes seltzer flavor provides a perfect touch for any occasion. Schweppes, a sparkling tradition since 1783 and the perfect way to elevate your everyday refreshment. Stop by your local food bazaar to get your favorite Schweppes seltzer for a slam dunk experience.
Good Karma Brands is proud to be an equal opportunity employer, providing equal employment, development, and advancement opportunities to all teammates and applicants. To learn more about careers with us, please send an email to talentacquisition@goodkarmabrands.com. That's talentacquisition@goodkarmabrands.com.
It feels like everyone's sick right now. You aren't imagining it. Doctors say this is the worst cold and flu season in 25 years, and it's not over. I was just traveling. It was like everyone around me was coughing, sneezing, and sick. I can't afford to get sick, and I doubt you can either. That's why I ordered a medical emergency kit. Having a medical emergency kit is like having urgent care and pharmacy right in your home. It includes essential prescriptions like generic Z-Pak to help you get well faster, plus important antibiotics to treat pneumonia, strep throat, sinus and ear infections, nausea, even UTIs, and many more common and serious illnesses. It's your kit the moment you need it. Just match your symptoms to the right prescription in your guidebook or call their telemedicine doctor standing by. It's genius. Every home needs at least one medical emergency kit. Order yours online in minutes and it's shipped to your door. I can save you $45 when you use my promo code 880 at urgentcarekit.com/880. Again, save $45 with my promo code 880 at urgentcarekit.com/880.
FanDuel is offering an early win on your pre-live moneyline bets for college basketball when your team goes up 10 points. And it stays a win no matter how the game ends. Do you get that? Win or lose, if your team takes a lead of 10 or more points, then it's a win for you. And don't forget, with FanDuel, you get paid instantly when you win. Just visit FanDuel.com/local to get started. Bet the bracket with FanDuel now. FanDuel is offering an early win on your pre-live moneyline bets for college basketball when your team goes up 10 points. And it stays a win no matter how the game ends. Do you get that? Win or lose, if your team takes a lead of 10 or more points, then it's a win for you. 21 and over in physically present New York, opt-in required. Tokens are non-withdrawable. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration, market requirements, and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. For help with a gambling problem, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369.
Think great meat has to come with a high price? Not at Wild Fork Foods. Get beef tenderloin for only $10 a pound. Yes, $10 a pound. And Atlantic salmon portions just $9.98 a pound. That's awesome quality at a great value for your table. Everything is blast frozen to lock in flavor and nutrients. Shop one of their 7 locations, or you can order online for same-day delivery. WildForkFoods.com. Wild Fork Foods. Quality meat. Wild prices.
That's the ease at which you get information. You want it, you get it. Like that. Ask your phone. Group chat. Smartphone. You're always connected and informed in real time. No waiting. So if you're diabetic and still using finger sticks to read your blood sugar, what are you waiting for? Knowing your blood sugar levels instantly is important for managing diabetes. Call US Med at 888-665-0696. To learn more about continuous glucose monitors, a real-time instant method to track your blood glucose, US Med is an approved provider for Medicare and over 1,000 private insurers. And the best part? Call 888-665-0696 and we'll give you a free insurance benefits check today. So call 888-665-0696 today. That's 888-665-0696 and manage your diabetes as easy as...
Welcome back to the show. Oh, we're playing the Nets theme song. I was at the Net game yesterday. That was rough. That was rough. Do you know the score at halftime? The Nets had 24 points at halftime. They're losing 60-24. I mean, they are just awful. Awful. I hope it works out. I hope it works out to like throw away all these seasons. I hope you get the dream. I hope you get a Boozer or a Debanza. I hope you do that, because if you don't, this is an embarrassment, the product you're putting on the floor. And that building is so awesome. Tough to get to if you drive, I'll tell you that. Anybody that drives to a Net game has to be out of their mind. You know, I drove because I'm out of my mind. And just to get out of the building. I mean, the lights aren't synced up. It's awful. It's awful. The only way to get there is with public transportation. But it's a great building. Their presentation is unbelievable. They get big crowds. And Oklahoma City, obviously, is the defending champions. But they weren't playing anybody. Some of their best players are sitting out. Caruso played 5 minutes. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander did play, got his requisite 20 points. And there was a point in the third quarter that he scored a basket so easily that, you know, he was laughing. He was laughing on the court. That's how bad the Nets were. They were an embarrassment. Again, hope it works out. Teams have gone through this kind of embarrassing stretch, and then they get the player that they dream of. The Nets didn't get that player last year, and they had 5 first-round draft picks. They didn't. They didn't get that player. They didn't do well in the lottery. I hope that they do, but I don't know how many of you watched that game on Yes. That was, you know, it was child's play for the Thunder. It was an absolute embarrassment. I don't know how the young kids of the Nets handle something like that. I give their coaching staff credit. They were coaching their butts off from start to finish. They never gave up on the game. But, you know, you scored 24 points in a half in the NBA. I mean, there are free points on the court in the NBA. They scored 24. Over a full game, that's 48 points. I mean, it's like incomprehensible what I was watching. They didn't even put up a fight. They seemed like they were in awe of the team that they were playing, and maybe they were. That team is so good. That organization's so good. But again, laughable. Laughable. I don't know how the Nets feel comfortable putting that product on the court. Now let's see what they do against the Knicks. The Knicks embarrassed them the last time they played them. That's Friday at Barclays Center. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. Now, in terms of the Knicks are winning over the 7-game stretch where they're playing awful teams. So they're 4-0 in the first 4 games. And then the Nets are next. Don't look now. The Knicks have a chance to win the conference, because if you haven't heard, Cade Cunningham has been shut down with a punctured lung, a collapsed lung. He's going to be reevaluated in 2 weeks, so he's going to miss at least the next 8 games. They're also playing without Isaiah Stewart, who's nursing a left calf strain, and he's going to be reevaluated next Tuesday. So Cade Cunningham, collapsed lung, at least the next 8 games. So the Pistons have 14 games left. The Knicks are breathing down the neck of the Celtics, and they could put some pressure on the Pistons as well. So here's the interesting sidelight to the Cade Cunningham injury. He's appeared in 61 games. The last game was 5 minutes, so it only counts as 60 games that he's played in. He has to play in 65 games in order to be eligible for all the postseason awards, to be all NBA, to be considered for the MVP. I don't think he would make it, but he's certainly in the top 5, right? 14 games left. If he's going to miss at least 8 games, that leaves 6. And if it's not 8 games, then you're dancing on him being ineligible, which is a shame because this is one of the best players in the game. He made a dive in a game against the Wizards, and they thought it was some kind of a rib injury, but it turned out to be a collapsed lung. So not only does that imperil the Pistons with the number 1 seed, but it certainly imperils Cade Cunningham for being on the All-NBA team, and he certainly is deserving of that. So I talked about the WBC. In an interview, the commissioner of baseball, Rob Manfred, said that he is considering, baseball is considering maybe having it be an in-season tournament sometime in July. Now, he's also very frank. They have a contract with Fox through 2028. And part of the contract is Fox gets the World Series and one of the either one of the league championship series. And then they get their games on Saturday. That contract ends in 2028, so he can't do anything until then, but you don't have to do anything till then because the next scheduled WBC is said to be 2030. And it makes sense. Now think about if you just took what happened, which was great theater, very, very entertaining, and the players certainly seemed as if they bought in, and you put that as an in-season tournament, it would make the NBA Cup look like a joke. It would look like a joke. Does anybody care about the NBA Cup? Honestly, I know the Knicks won, and some of the games were fun at the end against San Antonio. I get it. But does anybody care about who wins the NBA Cup? Do the players care about who wins the NBA Cup? It looked like the Knicks did, but not to the extent that the Venezuelan players cared. Not even close. Not to the extent that the Dominican Republic and the United States cared, and Japan. The players are all in. I think the NBA players realize the NBA Cup is a money grab that was created by Silver in order to sell to a network. Well, the WBC has been created already, and now in their next television dealings, they might be able to command a pretty good bit of money from a streamer or whatever to cover this tournament. They really might. It's become that much of a thing. I think it's a brilliant stroke by Manfred, and if you think about it, one of the things that I was left empty with is how the managers of the teams representing the countries were hamstrung because it's spring training to use certain players, where DeRosa couldn't even use Mason Miller in a tie game in the 9th inning. And Venezuela had their hands tied. Their manager Lopez, the Cubs didn't want him to use Valencia, and he talked him out of it. But if it's a midseason tournament, guys are stretched out, you might see the best starters actually sign up for it because they've already been stretched out and they've started by that time in July, maybe 18 games. Everybody is locked and loaded. It's not early in March and you're not playing intense games when you haven't played all winter. This would be a big deal. They've got things to figure out. Obviously they do. One of the things you have to figure out is, do you shut down the sport for 2 weeks? What do you do with the players that aren't on one of the teams? But the NHL's figured it out. They figured it out for the Olympics and the 4-country event that they had. They figured it out. Major League Baseball could figure it out. Now, I mentioned Mark DeRosa, who said that he's 100% in if he can manage Team USA again. Well, what I would say to DeRosa, and I'm not one of the people that says that DeRosa did a bad job. I think he stumbled on thinking that he had a spot in the Final Four clinched, but it ended up being much ado about nothing because they got in. but it's not a Supreme Court justice appointment. You don't get to keep the job forever. You just don't. I mean, bring in somebody else. Now, it's hard to get a big league manager to do it because they're managing their team and they're not going to be away from their team. But why can't you get a retired manager? Wouldn't Buck Showalter be an unbelievable person to do the next WBC? Is it going to be Mark DeRosa again? Again, he's not a Supreme Court justice. Doesn't mean that he gets to do it every single time. Be interesting to see who gets the gig next time. Is it going to be him again? He's 0 for 2. He's lost both championship games 3-2. And I'm not saying it's his fault, but might be time for another voice. I saw people hinting about, well, Jim Leland. By 2030, I think he's going to be 85 years old. We'll see. We'll see. One of the criticisms, why Mark DeRosa? He's never managed anywhere. Well, who are you going to do? Everybody's saying, well, look, the USA team had Sullivan and, he's established. You can't get the established managers to leave their spring training site to be a manager for the WBC. So it's going to be somebody like Mark. But Mark doing it for the third time, that's a little much. A little much. We talked a lot about some of the hate that's coming the way of Aaron Judge, right? And I saw this on social media today, and I thought it was so beautifully said. And I know when you're doing a talk radio show, you got to talk about these things, and you're going to get pushback. I understand it. It's part of the rules of engagement. But somebody wrote, Derek Jeter has 5 World Series championships, and he's called overrated. Aaron Judge has no World Series championships, and he's called overrated. The haters are out there in full force. That's just the way of the world right now. No matter what you do. I'm sure that if Aaron Judge, after Harper hit the home run, follows up with a home run of his own to give the United States a 3-2 lead, and then Mason Miller was allowed to come in and they win the championship 3-2, every single hater out there would say, what does it mean until he wins a World Series? That they've always got something extra. Yeah, but. So there are so many people out there that are baseball fans that hate the Yankees. So the face of the Yankees right now is Aaron Judge, and you're going to pick apart at every single thing that he does. And I have to accept that. I can fight back with you. I can give you stats. So those people I don't blame because they don't like the Yankees. And as I said this yesterday, I blame Yankee fans that try to find the warts on this guy. Those are the people I don't get. And I know you're starved for another championship. I get it. Been since 2009. I understand. But you're Yankee fans, and you see what he does to get you into the postseason on a yearly basis. He does things that we haven't seen done in our life. Those are the ones I don't get. Non-Yankee fans that don't like him, those are the same people I call Derek Jeter overrated. So he's overrated for winning 5, and Judge is overrated because he hasn't won 1. So you can't win. That's the best way to look at it. They're going to be who they are. They're going to be the haters. That's what they do. And that's why they live on social media. Because it gives them an opportunity behind the cloak of anonymity to send out hateful messages or negative or troll type messages. Get it. Get it. I understand it. I'm not going to let it bother me. I'm going to continue to tell you how great Aaron Judge is and how you should appreciate him more. And when he's gone, you're going to miss him. But in terms of like fighting the daily battle, not worth it. Not worth it. He's a great player. No one hit. No one hit in that game except for Harper. No one did. No one hit in the last 2 games they played. They had 2 home runs to beat Venezuela. That was it. Or to beat Dominican Republic. And then the Harper home run. No one else hit. But it's Judge. He's the one who gets all of the negativity. It is what it is, baby. 1-800-919-3776. Game time brought to you by Tullamore Dew Irish Whiskey, because when it's game time, it's telly time. Yankees are playing the Orioles right now and the Blue Jays right now in split squad spring training action. One of the games, the Blue Jay game, I believe, is on Yes right now. 6:05, the Mets play the Astros in spring training. 7 p.m., Rangers are in Columbus to play the Blue Jackets. Coverage begins at 6:30 right here on ESPN New York. And 7 p.m., the Islanders are in Ottawa to play the Senators. Tullamore Dew, the original triple distilled, triple blended, triple cast matured Irish whiskey. Be sure to grab a Tullamore Dew. Try the new Tullamore Dew Honey during today's action. Glass up to enjoying Tullamore Dew responsibly. We're going to have Howie Rose on with us at 2 o'clock. Looking forward to that. You know my social media feed, right? At Real Michael K. If you have questions for Howie, tweet them to me right now, and I'll take the best ones, and I will certainly ask him. So that'll be fun. I'll get you involved as well, because as you know, you're the co-host right here on ESPN New York.
Long Island is more exciting than ever at Jake's 58 Casino Hotel. This month, you'll be feeling March magic when you win your share of $50,000 cash during our Rainbow Riches drawing. Be here every Wednesday in March from 2 to 7 p.m. Each hour, one lucky guest is drawn to win up to $5,000 cash. Earn entry starting at 12:30 p.m. Come chase the rainbow every Wednesday in March, where Long Island wins at Jake's 58 Casino Hotel.
If gambling is a problem for you or someone you care about, please call the 24-hour toll-free helpline at 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY.
Gold is now nearly $5,200 an ounce, and silver is at an all-time high. Now is the best time to cash in on your unused gold and silver by going to the Estates Roadshow. Gold and silver, old rings, chains, and even broken jewelry. Don't wait. Cash in while gold and silver are hot. 3 locations this week: Staten Island as well as Clark and Old Bridge, New Jersey. Bring your gold, silver, coins, diamonds, and watches, even broken pieces, and get cash on the spot. The prices of gold and silver are at an all-time high, so there's never been a better time to sell. No appointments, no fees, no pressure. Just friendly professional buyers with over 35 years in the business. Go to the Estates Roadshow Monday through Friday in Clark, New Jersey at the Holiday Inn, Staten Island at the Hilton Garden Inn, and Friday through Tuesday in Old Bridge at TMT Cash for Gold, the bright yellow building on Route 9 South. Get some cash in your hands today at the Estates Roadshow. For more info, follow Estates Roadshow on Facebook or go to tmtcashforgold.com.
This is Rick Brunson, the assistant coach from the New York Knicks. I'll be driving to our games this season in style in my new Jeep Gladiator from Princeton Jeep. My friends at Princeton Jeep gave me all-star treatment, and you can expect the same thing. Just mention I sent you, and they'll treat you like family. Princeton Jeep has tons of inventory and great deals on new vehicles. Visit Princeton Jeep at 1045 State Road in Princeton, New Jersey, or online at PrincetonJeeps.com and tell them Rick Brunson sent you.
Hi, this is Don LaGreca. Just like the New Jersey Devils protect their home ice, Viking Pest Control protects your home. And I know because I use Viking at my own place. As the pest control provider and proud partner of the New Jersey Devils, Viking brings 45 years of trusted experience and expert service to keep ants, cockroaches, stinging insects, rodents, and even mosquitoes out of your zone. Their local team builds a personalized game plan that actually works. And when you bundle pest control and mosquito services, you score big savings. One call, one company, total peace of mind. Visit VikingPest.com. Protecting your home inside and out.
Score up to a $50 bonus bet daily during March matchups with BetMGM's free-to-play fast break game. Log in to BetMGM, play as the point guard, and choose to pass or go for a dunk. If you score, you'll win either a $50 bonus bet or boost token. The ball is always in your court with BetMGM, where you can take advantage of special offers and earn rewards points on every bet. Make a fast break during March matchups by playing as the point guard for your daily shot at a $50 bonus bet or boost token. BetMGM.com is where you can find full prize details and terms. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 plus years of age to wager and physically present in New York only. New and existing customer offer. Subject to eligibility requirements. Additional terms and restrictions may apply. All rewards expire in 24 hours.
I'm Boomer Esiason. My mom died from cancer. She was only 37 years old. She didn't have life insurance, and that was devastating for my family. That's why having life insurance is so important to me. Ethos makes it fast and easy. Get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. You can get up to $3 million in coverage with no medical exam.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/play. That's ethos.com/play.
Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Every March, are brackets the only thing you can think about? Do you have symptoms such as constant bracket obsession or moderate to severe bracket-related distractions? You may be living with bracket brain. Thankfully, there's ESPN Tournament Challenge, the #1 proven way to treat bracket brain right at the source. So this March, download the ESPN Tournament Challenge app, fill out your women's bracket, and get you and your brain in the game. ESPN Tournament Challenge. Play the #1 bracket game. Presented by Capital One.
NBA fans don't just watch the game, they live it. So stream like you're courtside with NBA League Pass, your ticket to all the action. Watch your favorite team shine and catch the league's brightest stars and rising stars at the same time with multi-view on your favorite devices. From the plays you can't believe to the most live games and the drama that comes with it. If it happens on the court, it's happening on NBA League Pass.
Only select out-of-market games available. Blackout restrictions apply. Additional charges and other conditions may apply. Visit NBA.com/subscriber agreement for full terms and conditions.
2. Howie Rose joins us the day he announces that 2026 will be his last year broadcasting the Mets on the radio right here on 880 ESPN New York. 1-800-919-3776. That's the number. Let's go to the phones. Let's go to Thomas in Rockland. What's up, Tom? Tom is...
Hi, man.
Hello.
Yeah, I just wanted to call about you talk about how Yankee fans get on Aaron Judge.
Some.
And treat him and it's just New York. I mean, it's mostly New York, but Mickey Mantle got booed for the first 10 years of his career because he wasn't what Casey Stengel said he was going to be. He wasn't Ruth Gehrig and DiMaggio all rolled into one, and he got booed for it. The only reason they stopped booing him because they started booing Roger Maris. I mean, that's just Yankee fans. Not all of them, but that's a lot of them. I mean, if Mickey Mantle can get booed, then Derek Jeter and Aaron Judge and everyone else can get booed.
No, it's a great point, and one of the reasons that Mickey got booed was he wasn't Joe DiMaggio. And the only time he was embraced is when Roger Maris broke the record instead of him, and Mickey got hurt and wasn't able to continue the chase with Roger, and then he became an endeared figure with the Yankees. I get that. And I understand players getting booed. The only player I've ever seen in all the years around the Yankees, which is now 40 years, I never saw Mattingly get booed. And he argues with me all the time. He says, I was booed. I never heard Mattingly get booed. Ever. Booing's one thing. Okay? So if he doesn't come through in a big spot, then boo him, right? You bought the ticket. You can do what you want as long as you're not profane. My problem is the people that articulate that he's terrible in the clutch, and I give you stats that show he's not terrible in the clutch. He never gets big hits in the postseason. I've given you time and time again different instances where he came up huge in the postseason. Is he as great in the postseason as he is in the regular season? No. Not many players are, by the way. Take a look at Mookie Betts' stats. Mookie Betts is awful in the postseason. But he has, 4 championships? So you kind of forget that because his teammates have picked him up. In the case of Aaron Judge, it takes a village, and the village has failed. And sometimes he's failed. But I gave you stats yesterday. Late inning situations, clutch situations where the game is tied or 1 or 2 run different. And he hit .343 with runners in scoring position. That's since 2017. That's better than his lifetime average. So don't tell me he doesn't come through. Yeah, you're allowed to boo him the time that he doesn't come through. I push back at the narrative where Yankee fans say, yeah, but what? He's one of the greatest players you'll ever see. Morty in Plainview. Morty.
Michael, how are you?
I'm good, sir. How are you? I haven't heard from you in a while.
Well, you're so popular, Michael. It's not easy to get through.
Well, thank you for trying.
I was listening to you yesterday, and I got to tell you how you suffer explaining the talent that Aaron Judge puts on a baseball diamond to the rear end of a horse is beyond me. These people will never understand. It's just, it is so incredibly difficult for me to fathom that I can't even put it into words, and I think I'm a pretty good wordsmith. I do want to point out something to you, however, about the WBC and sports and baseball in general. Okay. The world is changing, Michael. I heard you say last week you're going to be 66 years old. I'm going to be 89, God willing. And we are seeing the world change culturally. The ideology is changing and so on. 75% of the ballpark in Miami Tuesday night were Spanish people. Baseball has become a Spanish game. Black kids don't play baseball anymore. It's not cool. Their girlfriends don't like it. They like basketball, and football. White kids don't want to put the effort in, I don't think, the way they used to getting into the big leagues. It's too difficult. And so it goes on and on. And when you find a player with the enormous talent that an Aaron Judge has, and you have to justify it to people who don't understand, it's maddening. You go into a locker room today and ask one of these kids from Venezuela what they thought of Stan Musial as a baseball player. They'll tell you they don't follow Japanese ping pong or whatever they think. I don't know what they think, but they certainly don't have a clue about the history of this game, the integrity of the game. Now with gambling and the drugs and every other damn thing, it's just so frustrating for a guy like me. I know I'm old. I'm a curmudgeon. I'm a traditionalist. I have a hard time accepting some of the stuff, the changes that have been brought to the game, I think for the worse, not for the better. But you have to adapt or we're going nowhere. I got so much that I wanted to mention to you. I haven't missed a ball game at Yankee Stadium since 1947. My grandson called me up and said, "Grandpa, I got the schedule. Let's pick a date." And I always say, absolutely. You know what it's cost? 2 good, decent seats, parking, lunch, whatever it is. I'm in for $400 or $500 to go to a ball game.
At least.
It's getting to be a burden. I got to tell you, I'm not a poor man, but there's a limit to most things in life, and I am 89. So these are all of the things that factor into where we are today with the game that I love, and I know you love baseball as much as I do. It's just very
Morty,
frustrating.
the one thing that I would push
disappointing.
back with you on, it's not just baseball. You're going to a Knicks game is incredibly expensive. Going to a football game, incredibly expensive, and it's everything. Going to the movies now, the movies. I mean, if you take a family of 4 to the movies, just getting in is about $75, and then $10 for everything is more expensive. I don't know where it ends. I wish I knew. Now, in terms of the kids that play baseball from this country, I think that the Latin players have a great appreciation for Latin players that have played in the big leagues, and probably most players as well. I mean, Don Mattingly came up, right? He's from Indiana. He had no idea who Lou Gehrig was when he first became a Yankee. None. Because I always say that players they played when they were kids. They weren't watching the games. They weren't reading biographies. So they don't have a great appreciation of the game. I think they learn it. But I think the problem in this country, as baseball, breeding baseball players, so to speak, it's incredibly expensive to get on travel teams. I'm going through it right now. If you are a family that doesn't have great means, you can't do it. And when you say basketball, all you need is a basketball and sneakers. But if you go on a travel team in baseball, the amount of money they charge you is sickening. So that's why you're losing a lot of the youngsters that might have played baseball of any color. It's expensive, man. Everything's expensive. And I don't know the answer to that, Morty. I love Morty when he calls. Hey, if it feels like everybody's sick right now, you really aren't imagining it. Doctors say this is the worst cold and flu season in 25 years. And by the way, it's not over. I was just traveling last weekend down to Tampa for spring training. It was like everyone around me was coughing, sneezing, and sick. I can't afford to get sick, and I know that you can't either. That's why I ordered a medical emergency kit. This is a game changer. Having a medical emergency kit is like having an urgent care and pharmacy right in your home. It includes essential prescriptions like generic Z-Pak to help you get well faster, plus important antibiotics to treat pneumonia, strep throat, sinus and ear infections, nausea, even UTIs, and many more common and serious illnesses. If it's in your kit the moment you need it, then you have it. No waiting for your doctor, no hours at urgent care, no lines at the pharmacy, no copays. Just watch your symptoms and match them to the ones in the right prescription in your guidebook, or you can call their telemedicine doctor standing by. Start on your meds and feel better faster. It's really genius. Every home needs at least one medical emergency kit. Order yours online in minutes, and it's shipped to your door. I can save you $45 when you use my promo code 880 at urgentcarekit.com/880. Again, save $45 with my promo code 880 at urgentcarekit.com/880.
Yo, Harvey, Zoe, group selfie.
Ooh, nice new iPhone 17, Drewski.
Let's do a triangle formation. I'm in front.
With a center stage front camera, everyone fits in the shot.
You got it at T-Mobile.
But switching takes forever.
Not anymore. Now you can switch to T-Mobile in just 15 minutes.
Focus, people. Nail your pose.
And you get a new iPhone 17 on them.
No way.
Yes way.
No way.
Yes way, guys. Switch to T-Mobile and get iPhone 17 on us. And right now, we'll pay off your old phone up to $800.
I'm grabbing my phone and switching to T-Mobile right now.
Get back, Harvey. We're taking a... let's go again, y'all.
With 24 monthly bill credits, finance agreement, 256 gigabytes, $830, eligible trade-in, example iPhone 13, and new qualifying line, $60 plus per month plan with auto pay plus taxes and fees. For well-qualified customers, plus tax and $35 device connection charge. Credits end and balance due if you pay off early or cancel. Contact us. $800 via virtual prepaid card. Card typically takes 15 days after rebate submission, no cash access, and card expires in 6 months. Check out in 15 minutes per line. Visit T-Mobile.com.
ESPN New York, now streaming live on YouTube. Subscribe today and watch the show. WHSQ and WCBS-FM HD2, New York.
Right now, FanDuel is dropping bonus bets into everyone's account for the tournament, and all you have to do is opt in to claim your bonus. Use them on your bracket picks, money lines, spreads, totals, game props, or even same-game parlays. But don't wait. These bonus bets are only available for a limited time. So if you want to get into the action, just visit FanDuel.com/local to learn more. Get in the action now to opt in and claim your bonus. FanDuel is dropping bonus bets into everyone's account for the tournament. Use them on your bracket picks, money lines, spreads, totals, game props, or even same-game parlays. Must be 21 and older and physically present in New York. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Max bonus $500 unless otherwise specified. Restrictions do apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. For help with a gambling problem, call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY at 467369.
Do you have trouble getting in and out of the bathtub? Are you afraid you'll slip and fall entering or exiting a tub? SafeStep walk-in tubs can transform your bathtub from an area of concern to a calming refuge. Call them today at 1-800-731-4558 and save $1,600. SafeStep walk-in tubs and showers are proudly made in Tennessee and offer an ultra-low step-in, avoiding that difficult climb over a traditional bathtub wall. They also offer a variety of therapeutic benefits that may help soothe your aching muscles and joints, increasing your mobility, boosting your energy, and improving your sleep. SafeStep walk-in tubs are designed to easily fit your existing tub space and are often installed in as little as 1 day. Just dial 1-800-731-4558 today to save $1,600 and receive a free shower package. That's 1-800-731-4558 for a free no-obligation consultation and to save $1,600. Safe Step walk-in tubs. Safety never felt so good.
Welcome back to the show. I'm excited about this because I consider Howie a friend, and he's agreed to come on with us. And he also just agreed, and we're going to clear the lines right now. I know the lines are jammed, and if you were waiting, I certainly apologize, but I want to have clear lines because Howie has agreed to take phone calls from people. Obviously, if you have memories or if you want to tell them what you think of them, and I know it's all warm and fuzzy, you can feel free to do that, 1-800-919-3776. Again, I apologize to everyone that was on hold to talk about something else, but we definitely want to have you get a chance to talk to Howie Rose, and he so graciously has agreed to take some phone calls with us in this segment. And if you just joined us, we're all stunned today when the Mets released a statement from Howie that 2026 would be, in fact, his last season broadcasting Met baseball. And he joins us now. Howie, I'm not finished listening to you yet, so I'm going to soak up all of these 84 games and any playoff games. Was this a tough decision for you to come through? Did you agonize over it?
Yes, I did, and I have for the last few years, and great to talk to you as always, Michael. The thing of it is, I had a bit of a wake-up call, as you know, when I had the bladder cancer 5 years ago, and I didn't really need that to remind me that nothing and no one is forever, but it just reinforced, even going back then, that, I don't, God willing, health being okay, I don't want to stagger into retirement because, as you well know, there are a lot of people in our business who can't let go, and they stay around too long. And when you hear them at the end, you kind of wish that they hadn't stayed around as long as they did. I don't want to get to that point. I mean, I know right now that the synapses don't fire quite as quickly as they used to, but I can compensate for that. Just like a pitcher who loses a little off his fastball learns how to make adjustments. But I did not want to be the guy that would have people saying, "What is he doing? Give it up already." So, I want to enjoy retirement. I want to continue to kill worms and birds down here on the golf course and, find other things to stink at. And there are stronger words I could use, but it is what it is. So we'll leave it at that and just say that I'm very much at peace with this. Thanks.
Did your family try to talk you out of it, or did your wife, was she all in?
That's a good question. You probably have to ask her because she puts on a brave face, but I'm not sure she wants me around as much as I plan to be. But you know what? And she enters into this in a lot of ways because, I did a full season with a little bit of vacation time built in, but not enough to make a big difference. But, I did a full baseball schedule and a full hockey schedule concurrently. And I think that was for a total of about 12 years. And let me tell you something, that takes a lot out of you. And your significant other makes a big sacrifice when you do baseball, singularly. When you do the others, it's a little ridiculous. And so she didn't really have to talk me out of it. If anything, she might have dropped some hints along the way that, anytime you're ready, it's cool. Mm-hmm. And as I've said before, I got tired of coming home after games at night, and she'd be sitting at the kitchen table or in the living room, and it's on a computer, or what you have for dinner, just a bowl of cereal. Enough. I'll always be a New Yorker, but we live in Florida now, and that's where a lot of our social life is, and it's time. It's just time.
I get the sense, Howie, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, that you have a really, really warm relationship with Steve and Alex Cohen. And when I'm at the ballpark, I sometimes see you talking with them. You obviously, they have you MC all of the events on the field. What is that relationship like? And what was his reaction when you told him?
Well, first of all, you're right. It's been a wonderful relationship since just about the day that they took over. And I don't want to ignore their predecessors because I've known Fred Wilpon and the family since 1980, and they were fabulous to me, But the fact that, right now, Steve and Alex have just been so warm and so respectful and so welcoming to me has made it. I'll tell you what, it actually makes it an even more difficult decision because it's hard to walk away from, and you have the same thing with the Yankees, I'm sure, and the same thing with the Steinbrenner family. When you feel the connection, it's a very, very hard thing to let go of, but you can't argue with the birth certificate. And Steve and Alex have been very gracious in inviting me to continue to MC the big moments at Citi Field. So I won't be a stranger. I'll be around the ballpark now and then. And I'll need that emotionally too. So I thank them for that from the bottom of my heart.
Now, obviously, you're a kid from Queens, and you're a Met fan. You don't hide it, although you are critical when you need to be. How much, Howie, do you want them to go all the way this year?
I can't even articulate it, Michael. I really can't. It's funny. My first year involved with Mets broadcasts, believe it or not, starting as the pre- and post-game host of Mets Extra, as it was called back then, was 1987. So maybe I'm the mush, because when I got there, they were the defending world champions and everything was great. I show up and, it's been 40 years now, but nothing, and I mean nothing, professionally and even personally would make me happier than to take that ride down the Canyon of Heroes. I know you've done it. It's surreal. I was absolutely honored and privileged enough to have done that with the Rangers after they won the Stanley Cup in 1994. And that is a forever experience. And I want the players and the people who've not experienced to have a crack at that. It's unbelievable, as you well know.
Now, when John Sterling hung it up, I tried to talk him out of it. I'm not going to try to talk you out of it, but I remember him saying to me, Michael, if I just had to do the games, it'd be great. If I could be transported into the booth at 7 o'clock and then transported home at the end, I could do this forever. but it's everything that leads up and the preparation and the driving there. Do you feel that way, that the games are the best part and everything else is tough?
Ditto. Absolutely to the letter. And I am 100% in accord with those sentiments of John's, because I remember even last season, and, Keith and Madge would tell you that, I'm filling out my scorecard before the game, and we just don't put the names of the guys that are in the starting lineup. We make little notes, and it takes a little bit of work, especially if you're playing a team or the Mets are playing a team that we don't see much or not familiar with. And so, those few hours before the game, that's not just spent schmoozing. There's literal pen to paper preparation that needs to be done. And I remember even saying out loud down the stretch last year, I said, man, I need to do all this again today. I just did it yesterday, and we're going to do it again tomorrow. It's the preparation. I remember Vin Scully saying the same thing. The games are the easy part. 100%. You put me in my seat at 7 o'clock, turn that mic on, and assuming that I know what I need to know to get by that night, the rest is easy. Doing the game, this is what we do. We're trained to do it, and we do it. But it's all the ancillary stuff, the preparation. And forget that I'm not even traveling with the club this year until hopefully the postseason. But I don't have a very long commute to the ballpark, but, there's no such thing as a short commute in New York anymore, as we well know. So those are the things that kind of make one lean towards the decision that I've made here.
Do you at all transport yourself forward in time in that last game and how you think you'll handle it and how emotional you'll be?
I haven't gotten there yet, I would hope that I don't know it's the last game until it's over and they win it, because that's storybook, right? That would be the perfect ending. I don't know that I'll be prepared for it even that morning if I know that the season's ending that day. I don't know that you ever can really be prepared for saying so long to something that you dreamed of doing as a kid. And I'll give you a quick story real fast. I can go on and on, as you know. But
I'd love it.
I'll take you back to August 4th, 1966. And there's a reason I remember that date. I was a 12-year-old in the upper deck at Shea Stadium. Mets are facing the Giants and Juan Marichal. It's 1966. It's only the 5th year the Mets have been in existence, and they've never been out of last place. So we had no expectations of much. Well, Juan Marichal, the great Giants Hall of Fame right-hander, is facing Dennis Rybant and the Mets. Marichal has a perfect game going for 5 2/3 innings. And so here are the Mets trailing. I think at that point it was 4-0. It would eventually go to 5-0. But now the pitcher's spot is up in the bottom of the 6th. The Mets haven't had a base runner yet. And Wes Westrom, the Mets manager, lets the pitcher, Dennis Rybant, hit for himself. Well, that's where I became a talk show host because we were ripping Westrom in the upper deck. But what happens? Rybant hits a little 38 hopper through the middle. No harder than, pardon me for this, Luis Sokol's hit against Al Leiter, in the World Series. The same kind of hit. Well, long story short, the Mets go on, and in the 9th inning, Ron Swoboda hits a pinch hit home run, and the Mets win the game. They didn't beat Marichal. They beat the bullpen. Swoboda hits a home run off of Bill Henry, and the Mets won the game 8-6. All the way home, I kept thinking to myself, what did this sound like on television and radio? How did Lindsay make it sound? How did Murph make it sound? And I told myself, this is the greatest game I'll ever see. I'm going to remember this date forever. That's how I come up with August 4th, 1966. But, this dream goes back that far. And so, I thought about this as far back as that game in particular. And so, yes, I afford myself every once in a while the level of introspection where I could think back and go, geez, this was a long shot and we pulled it off. Fooled them, didn't we? And that's kind of where my head's at now.
Don't you wonder? I mean, I said this early when I opened the show talking about you that, there are people that get jobs and they broadcast for teams and they come from somewhere else, and I'm sure they do their homework and they study, but there's such an advantage for guys like you and Gary that it's in your soul. It's institutional. I mean, I don't know if this career would mean as much to you if you were broadcasting the Reds. I mean, it's still a wonderful job, but it's also an advantage for you that you don't have to go to Google and look up things because you lived it. I mean, you just told the story from 1966. You know, to have that in your soul, Howie, I think that's what makes the job so special for you.
Oh, well, you could relate to that as well as anybody. I mean, you remember Thad Tillotson as fondly as I remembered, Jack Fisher or Jack Hamilton or somebody like that from the 60s, I think, although you're younger than me. But, you know what I'm getting at. For us, people say, well, how do you remember this? Well, we lived it. Right. And when you're as passionate a fan as we are, those moments stay with you, and they don't need to be referenced and they don't need to be bookmarked because they become a part of your essence, That's how passionate we are about the game, about what we do, and about the teams that we work for. We are blessed beyond certainly my ability to articulate having worked for those teams that we grew up loving, The 69, I always go back to 69 and being 15 years old in the upper deck and watching this unbelievable story unfold. And, through what I do, and some I've worked with on the air and some I've just gotten to know, but there are a significant number of that 1969 team that, I've become friends with and have socialized with. And I know that it's the same for you. It's a lot of the players that you grew up feeling the same way about. It blows me away when I think about that in that context. I'll never get over that, and that's a good thing because it keeps me, never mind grounded, it keeps me 15 again, and there's nothing better.
Now, I don't think you need to know this, and maybe you felt this before, but with your announcement today, social media blows up. And do you get the sense, Howie, how much Met fans adore you, how much you're part of their life? And when you're a radio broadcaster, it's great being on TV, but baseball's a radio sport. You get taken everywhere, to the beach, the pool, the picnic, the barbecue. Mm-hmm. Do you feel that love now coming through social media, how much you mean to people?
Well, I try to be, humble and understated, but I'd be lying to you if I said I didn't, even if it's just through looking at the enormous amount of beautiful messages and texts and, Twitter comments that I've seen today or just had sent to my attention. It again ties everything together with being that kid that grew up with Lindsey, Bob, and Ralph in my eyes and ears for the better part of 7 or 8 months out of every year. And I did as well, just as you did, with, Scooter, White, and Messer, and before that, Mel Allen. Mel Allen, by the way, was my very first, baseball broadcasting idol, because I fell in love with baseball sitting next to my dad at Yankee Stadium in 1961, the year before the Mets were even born. And Mel Allen, I remember my dad telling me that my aunt, his sister, had a crush on Mel Allen, Mel to me was a hero. Actually, he's the first autograph I ever got. My dad said to me, we're sitting in the mezzanine at the old stadium, and you probably know this, but they didn't have a bathroom in the press box there. They had to walk through the crowd to get to the bathroom. So my father sees Mel going up the aisle, and quickly my father gives me the scorecard, the pen or the pencil, and said, hey, there's Mel Allen. Ask him for his autograph or get his autograph. And I said, okay, what do I do? I'm 7 years old, 8 years old, whatever. He said, just give him this and say, may I have your autograph, please? So I did, and he couldn't have been nicer. But now I'm walking back to my seat somewhat sheepishly because I keep looking at it. And my dad says, so did you get it? I said, well, I think so. He said, what do you mean you think so? I said, well, I gave him the scorecard and the pen or pencil, whatever it was, but all he did was write his name because I knew the word photograph, right? I didn't know the word autograph. And so for me, when I heard autograph, I associated it with photograph, thinking it was going to be something visual. I thought maybe he's going to draw a picture of himself at least. I said, Dad, all he did was sign his name. But that's the first autograph I ever got. So Mel was my first hero. And he had an effect on me even before the Mets were born, just as I'm sure if you're too young to remember Mel with the Yankees, again, Scooter and Messer and White did for you.
Absolutely. We're talking with Howie Rose today. Announced that this upcoming season will be his final season in the radio booth, and you could hear him on 880. Couple of people earlier have sent some tweets, and a caller asked me to ask you these questions. So a previous caller said, do you remember what the first playoff game was like in 1969 when they played the Braves? And do you remember Hank Aaron hitting a home run that hit the flagpole?
Yes, I do. That was game 3. They had won the first 2 games in Milwaukee, and the way they did it was stunning because that Mets team was built around their great pitching of Seaver, Kuzman, a rookie named Gary Gentry. Nolan Ryan was on that team, of course, a young Ryan. But anyway, the Mets outslugged the Braves in winning those first 2 games in Atlanta. It was supposed to be a low-scoring series, and the Braves were an offensively potent team, but the Mets out-hit them. So now they get to Shea for game 3, and I'm sitting in the upper deck with my buddy, my 2 friends, actually, Robert Joseph and Eric Friedenthal. And you know what? When they took the field, there's a song that Jane Jarvis, the organist, composed herself, and it was called "Let's Go Mets." Dun, 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 dun. I won't ruin it any more than that, but when they took the field that day and Jane Jarvis played that song, that music connected with me, and I thought, I've been sitting here since 1964. I've heard that song probably a couple hundred times live, and oh my God, they're coming out of that dugout to try to win a pennant. I mean, it was just overwhelming. And then, Hank hits the home run off the flagpole, but they come back and they win the game. And I come home with half a center field around my neck. And I walk into the house and the apartment where I live. And my father says, he was angry. He goes, "Where were you?" I go, "Where was I?" I go, "Look, Tommy Agee walked right here. This grass, it's on my neck." And I became the first kid since Spanky and Alfalfa to get a visit from the truant officer. Literally the truant officer, because we had late session at Cardozo High School that year. We were so overcrowded. And the weekend before, just a few days back, my parents, who never went anywhere, had decided months in advance they were going to the special weekend in the Catskills, and they were going to take me out of school on Friday and go up to Brown's for the weekend. And I said, "Look, I'm telling you now, I'm going to the game Monday, just so you know. That means I'll be out of school Friday and Monday." And they told me they were okay with it. Well, they weren't so okay when the truant officer showed up Monday, wondering why I missed Friday and why I missed Monday.
Amazing.
So I had some explaining to do after that. But, that's what I remember about that game as much as winning the pennant.
All right, Suffering Jim sent this on social media. He said, ask Howie what his favorite visiting park is.
That's a great question, because for sentimental reasons, I always loved going to Wrigley Field because it takes me right back to the summer of '69. But it is a brutal place to work.
Yep.
You know that. It's
Yep.
just so uncomfortable, and you have no counter space, no room. I hate working there. I love going there. Feel the same way about Fenway for sentimental reasons, because I never rooted so hard for an underdog team in the World Series as I did the Red Sox in 1967. That's the greatest pennant race I ever saw. So, I always had special, believe it or not, feelings for the Red Sox and Fenway since then. So I get those same feelings in Fenway, but they've kind of made some improvements there to where it's a more comfortable place to work than it used to be. So for me, really, it's just all the old parks like Dodger Stadium. You used to walk out to the bus after the game through the center field gate. So I'm walking on the field at Dodger Stadium, and I couldn't help myself. I had to go to the pitcher's mound because Sandy Koufax is as big as an idol as I've ever had. And I'm thinking, geez, this is where Sandy Koufax pitched. And as I'm walking from first base, I'm sorry for this one, but I'm thinking, this is where Pepitone lost that throw from Boyer in the white 63 series. Honest to goodness. Those thoughts come fleeting through my mind when I go back to those ballparks that I grew up watching. So all of those older ones, they resonate with me.
Howie Rose, our guest. He's been gracious enough. He's going to take some phone calls, 1-800-919-3776, and we'll go to Neil in Yorktown. Neil, you're on with Howie.
Hey, hi, Howie. I met you. You actually gave me my first shot at the radio station at Queens College back at WQMC. Though
Wow.
we ended up going in different directions because I went into the music industry for a little while. You went into sports. I still kept in touch and followed your history. And actually, I've been fortunate, though I became a Yankee fan. So I grew up in Queens, and we had season tickets the first 2 years the Mets were in Shea Stadium. my uncles and my mother because they were originally from Brooklyn, of course. But I've actually been to two perfect games, one at Shea and one at Yankee Stadium for David Wells.
Wow.
But Howie, Mateau, that is the best thing in my history of you. So thank you for all the years that you've been a great announcer, and that you came. I was in Great Neck once, and you came across the street, and I ran out of my office and said, congratulations, and you showed me the ring you guys got from the Rangers, which was really, really terrific. So just wanted to say thank you to both of you.
Oh, that's very sweet. Thank you. And that was some run in 1994, and I'll cherish that as much as anything in this business. And again, I was a season ticket holder for the Rangers in the blue seats in the 1970s when it was nuts up there. That's where the real fans were back then, up in the blues. And that was the culmination. My only regret from a fan standpoint, as far as the Rangers go, was that Emil Francis' team never won the cup, because those were my guys. The Gag Line, Joachim and Park, that whole group. It still hurts to this day that they didn't win.
Jimmy in Montclair, you're on with Howie.
Hey, Jimmy.
It's an honor to be on. It's an honor to be on with two baseball legends. Howie,
my honor. Thank you.
I can't thank you enough. I can't thank you enough for making every drive home more relaxing. My girlfriend always makes fun of me for listening to the games on radio. I'm only 33, but I grew up listening to the games on the radio all the time. Remember going to my first game with the Mets, the green seats at the old Shea with my dad. And from the bottom of my heart, thank you for everything.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. I used to joke that I had my mail sent to the upper deck at Shea Stadium. And then, in later years, I really did get mail to Shea Stadium. And that was a pretty big thrill, too, in and of itself.
Let's go to Nick in Staten Island. Nick.
What's up, guys?
Hi, Nick.
Good afternoon. It's an honor and a privilege to be on this call with the both of you. So my questions are two-parter, so I'll get to it quick. For you, Howie, do you think there was ever a player besides David Wright who meant more to the Mets fan base than Pete Alonso did? And then what are your feelings on the decision to let him go? And then the second part is, what is the most memorable moment for the Mets for you, either as a fan or a radio host? Thank you guys again. This is unbelievable. Congratulations.
Thank you, Nick.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. Let me work backwards there. As far as someone as appreciated or beloved as Pete, you're probably too young to remember Tom Seaver. And I'm going to tie that in with the second part of this answer, because I maintain to this day, even though I've been at Shea Stadium to see the Mets win the division, the pennant, and the World Series, the most memorable night that I ever spent at Shea Stadium was July 9th, 1969, which also happened to be my late father's birthday. He wasn't with me that night. He was a Yankee fan. And I was with a couple of friends. And that was the night that Tom Seaver came within 2 outs of pitching the perfect game against the Chicago Cubs. Jimmy Quall spoiled it with a base hit, but the Mets won the game. And that was the first night that I went home from Shea Stadium thinking, oh, my God, they're good. And maybe they just might be good enough. Who knows? And obviously that ended in the greatest way that a season can end, when your team wins it all, as the Mets did in 1969. But even having been there to see all those clinchers, nothing will ever top that night, because to me, that's the night the Mets grew up. That's the night they were bar mitzvahed and became men, if you will. And nothing will top that, because you can only be 15 once.
I remember specifically, and I always will, to my last day, the phone call that I got that told me I got the radio gig. Who made the phone call to you? How did you find out that you got, I mean, I know you'd done pre and post, but that you were going to do play-by-play for the Mets?
Yeah, it's pretty complicated. It's not as cut and dry as you might think, Michael, because when that happened, I had been filling in here and there doing games on radio, because as the host of Mets Extra, the pre and post game show, I was in the quote broadcast family but not as a play-by-play guy unless it was to substitute for someone who was missing the game that day or night. And so in the summer of 1995, I left WFAN to go to Sports Channel to do the Islanders. And there's a little known thing here that I'll get into in a little bit. There are actually 2 occasions where I almost left the Mets. And in the summer of 95, when they gave me the Islander job, my contract was structured so that there would also be some, I think the number was 60, of other events or shows that I'd be part of, but with no promises that would have anything to do with play-by-play. But anyway, after that 95 season, the Mets parted ways with Rusty Staub. I was already at Sports Channel at that point, and they came to me and said, well, you know, we do 75 games, so it wasn't the entire season. Would you be interested in doing that along with the Islanders? And that was just overwhelming. I go, wow. So I talked it over with my wife, because by going to Sports Channel just to do the Islanders, remember now, I was going to leave Mets Extra. I was just going to the Islanders. That was going to be my career. I was going to do hockey and whatever else they wanted me to do on Sports Channel. But now I had to go back and say to Barbara, hey, look, they're giving me an opportunity I could never have dreamed of, but it's going to require me being on the road more and blah, blah, blah. What do you think? And thankfully, she said, go for it. And that's really how I became a Mets play-by-play guy. As far as a regular play-by-play voice with the Mets, it was on television first, even though I'd done a lot of radio before then.
Listen, I could keep you on for the rest of the show. It's not fair. I'm so glad that you agreed to come on. I just want to tell you that I don't want to make you feel uncomfortable, but when I finish doing Yankee games and the Met games are still on and I'm driving home and I put the Met game on, you relax me. Your voice relaxes me. It's lyrical. And then I marvel at how good you are. And you still are. So, nice. So as you said earlier, you know, you're not leaving, you know, limping to the finish line. You're sprinting through it. And when I saw your message today, it made me sad, but also made me happy that this is a guy that's lived his dream to the utmost and is just extraordinary at his job. So I hope you have the most wonderful year.
Well, Michael, that's so nice of you, and I appreciate it. And I really feel that we're kindred spirits, because I know you grew up with the same passion for the Yankees, growing up in the Bronx, as I did, growing up in Queens with the Mets. And I think the two of us can look up and thank whomever and however many for the great good fortune that we've had to do what we do for a living.
For sure. Enjoy all these accolades coming your way, and enjoy the season. I'll see you at the Met Yankee games.
Thanks, Michael. I look forward to it. And thanks again for all the kind words over the years.
Of course. Of course. Thank you, Howie. That's Howie Rose. So he announced today that this will be his final season doing Met baseball on 880, and 72 years old. He's done it for a long time. He's been involved with the Mets since 87. So it's been an incredible run. And as I said earlier, he is as synonymous with the Mets as any of their great players that they've had in the history of the franchise, which started in 1962. And I said this earlier, and I mean it. Met fans adored their announcers, maybe because there have been some tough times, and the announcers get them through it. And the announcers have been the one constant in a situation where things get crazy sometimes. So Lindsay and Bob and Ralph and then Gary and Tim McCarver and of course Howie Rose. So I hope he has the greatest year. We'll come back. More things to talk about. Things are changing in the American League East. A little bit of a shift in what you can expect. And there's an injury that's the cause of that. We'll talk about that in just a moment right here on The K Show, rolling till 3 on ESPN New York.
Monkey Sports, built by players for players, is your one-stop shop for hockey, baseball, lacrosse, and more. Find top-name equipment and expert in-store services like sharpening, break-ins, and relacing. Shop in-store at Monkey Sports in Farmingdale or Woodbridge, or online for all the top brands. Whatever your sports, Monkey Sports gets you game ready fast. Monkey Sports, where athletes shop.
Ox Spine at New York Presbyterian is always in pursuit of a better way to heal the spine. We're getting more people moving again with minimally invasive, non-surgical, and surgical treatments, with innovative solutions for every back and spine condition and your unique needs. Expert spine care is available now across New York City and Westchester. Find a doctor at nyp.org/oxspine. Stay amazing. New York Presbyterian.
Score up to a $50 bonus bet daily during March matchups with BetMGM's free-to-play fast break game. Log in to BetMGM, play as the point guard, and choose to pass or go for a dunk. If you score, you'll win either a $50 bonus bet or boost token. The ball is always in your court with BetMGM, where you can take advantage of special offers and earn rewards points on every bet. Make a fast break during March matchups by playing as the point guard for your daily shot at a $50 bonus bet or boost token. BetMGM.com is where you can find full prize details and terms. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 plus years of age to wager and physically present in New York only. New and existing customer offer. Subject to eligibility requirements. Additional terms and restrictions may apply. All rewards expire in 24 hours.
Tax season savings at PC Richard & Son. Up to 35% off select categories with an extra 8.875% off hundreds of items store-wide.
I know that hiring can be challenging. You sort through tons of resumes and you get too many so-so applicants. You're just waiting for someone to match your role perfectly. Well, now, there's a place where you can meet them fast. ZipRecruiter.
Need to hire right away. Start your search for strong candidates. The right fit awaits. Build your team. Build it sooner. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter.
Just head to ZipRecruiter.com/ESPN right now to try it for free, and you're on your way to meeting your match. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. So try it now. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/ESPN. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/ESPN.
Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. Try it free.
My name's Brian Windhurst, and I've seen a lot of good offense in my life. If you're looking to initiate some offense of your own against your high-interest credit card debt, I'm letting you know a SoFi personal loan might be the play. A SoFi personal loan could be quite the triple threat with low fixed rates, no fees required, and as soon as the same day funding. View your rate for a SoFi personal loan at SoFi.com/offense. Loans originated by SoFi Bank, NA member FDIC. Terms and conditions apply at SoFi.com/offense. NMLS 696891.
Rich Eisen here. For small businesses, every hire counts, and so does your time. Hiring can quickly become overwhelming, from sorting applications to figuring out who's truly qualified. That's where LinkedIn Hiring Pro helps. It streamlines the process so you can focus on connecting with the right candidates, not managing the noise. Hire right the first time. Post your job and get $100 off towards your job post at linkedin.com/Eisen. That's linkedin.com/Eisen. Terms and conditions apply.
ESPN New York is teaming up with Calandra's Bakery to give away a pair of tickets to see the New York Knicks take on Charlotte on Sunday, April 12th. It's easy to enter. Just stop by Calandra's Bakery at 234 Bloomfield Avenue in Caldwell, New Jersey, before April 7th to enter in person. It's brought to you by Calandra's Bakery in Caldwell, home of fresh bread, classic Italian pastries, and traditions baked daily. By the way, the guys had a great time yesterday, the afternoon show at Calandra's. Nice crowd. Calandra's has always been a great supporter of this radio station, and thank you for that association. Again, everything I've heard about yesterday's remote, it was absolutely great. Absolutely great. I have long laughed at prognostications. You know, we have to predict who's going to win a division, who's going to win a championship, and it's part of the gig. I get it. But it's so laughable because we don't know if somebody's going to blow out his arm. We have no idea. We have no idea if the best player on a certain team is going to have a debilitating injury that's going to sideline him for the rest of the season. We don't know that. You can't predict that. Only God knows that, right? So most people felt with the Yankees, quote unquote, running it back. Well, how are they running it back? The Blue Jays, although they won 94 games, same as the Yankees, They manhandled the Yankees, and then they beat them in the division series as well. So how are they going to compete with the Blue Jays? Well, I kept saying, well, the Blue Jays don't have Bo Bichette. They're a lot different than they were. And now you get the news today that Trey Yesavage, who was such a big part of that series win against the Yankees and pitched a beautiful game in the World Series as well, he is out with a shoulder impingement. Now they're hoping that he could be back on a mound in a week, but the manager, John Schneider, said, don't have a timetable. When they say they don't have a timetable, they're nervous. And John, who had said earlier that, they were slow playing Yesavage because he pitched so many innings last year, such a jump in innings, that, they were taking it slow with him. He's pitching on backfields, wasn't appearing in games, but now he said he came to camp feeling this shoulder impingement. When you have a youngster all of a sudden jump up in innings and throw the way, Yesavage throws, you get nervous that something like this could happen. And shoulders are the biggest concern, even more so than elbows that lead to Tommy John surgery, because, shoulders are an inexact science. Tommy John surgery, I think most of these surgeons could do it in their sleep. So I hope that everything goes well for Yesavage, a really splendid young talent. But now Yesavage is out of the rotation. Jose Barrios has an elbow stress fracture, out of the rotation. Shane Bieber, he has forearm fatigue. Remember, last year he was coming back from Tommy John surgery. He's out of the rotation. So that means 3 of the projected starters will not be starting the season with Toronto. So Eric Lauer, who pitches well out of the bullpen, is going to slide into the rotation. You've got a rotation of Kevin Gausman in the last year of his contract, and he has hinted that he might retire. He'll be there. Dylan Cease, who they signed to that 7-year, $210 million contract, he'll be there. Cody Ponce, who pitched in Korea last year, he's going to be in the rotation. And Max Scherzer, who they signed as insurance, and now they're cashing that insurance policy in. So the veteran Max Scherzer is going to be part of their starting 5. So no Yesavage, no Barrios, no Bieber. Now, I'm not saying they're going to be out the rest of the year, but they're not starting the season with the Blue Jays, and it's all contingent upon them getting well. Let's see. Yesavage is so important to what they did. I mean, he burst upon the scene. That game they pitched against the Yankees in the postseason was brilliant. The game that he pitched against the Dodgers in the World Series, also brilliant. Bieber, a little bit of a gamble with him coming back from Tommy John surgery, so you don't know what the deal is. And Barrios was hurt during the postseason last year, actually left the team because he was healthy enough to pitch, and they kept him off the roster. And rather than stay around and watch his team prepare or play, he left. But they were counting on him this year, and he's out. So how are you going to pick the American League East? How are you going to pick them? Now, the Yankees, everybody keeps crossing their fingers. They have been remarkably healthy in spring training. Everything's gone well in the rehab for Rodon after getting loose bodies removed from his elbow. And he threw today and threw very well. Yesterday, 1-inning outing. And that went very, very well for Gerrit Cole. So they have not had the injuries that you have in spring training. Last year, we were shocked when Gerrit Cole was revealed would have to have, Tommy John surgery. So far, if you're a Yankee, you knock on the wood, it has not happened this year. There hasn't been that particular debilitating injury. Who knows? There's still, some days to go until Wednesday when the Yankees open up against the Giants in San Francisco. But not great news for the Blue Jays today. We'll take some phone calls as we finish it up. 1-800-919-3776. Right now, FanDuel dropping bonus bets into everyone's account for the tournament. All you have to do is opt in to claim your bonus. Use them on your bracket picks, money line, spreads, totals, game props, or even same-game parlays. But don't wait. These bonus bets are only available for a limited time. Just visit FanDuel.com/local to learn more. 21 plus and physically present in New York. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 7 days after receipt. Max bonus $500 unless otherwise specified. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. For help with a gambling problem, call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369.
If you've been injured on a construction site, then you need a lawyer who knows New York's unique labor laws. At the Parisman Firm, they have decades of experience handling construction accident cases and a proven track record of delivering huge results. Their team has already recovered nearly $1 billion for hardworking New Yorkers. From scaffold accidents to slip and falls and equipment failures, they've got your back. Call the Parisman Firm now at 718-WORKERS. That's right, 718-WORKERS, because your case is their cause. Get the justice you deserve today.
It feels like everyone's sick right now. You aren't imagining it. Doctors say this is the worst cold and flu season in 25 years, and it's not over. I was just traveling. It was like everyone around me was coughing, sneezing, and sick. I can't afford to get sick, and I doubt you can either. That's why I ordered a medical emergency kit. Having a medical emergency kit is like having urgent care and pharmacy right in your home. It includes essential prescriptions like generic Z-Pak to help you get well faster, plus important antibiotics to treat pneumonia, strep throat, sinus and ear infections, nausea, even UTIs, and many more common and serious illnesses. It's your kit the moment you need it. Just match your symptoms to the right prescription in your guidebook or call their telemedicine doctor standing by. It's genius. Every home needs at least one medical emergency kit. Order yours online in minutes and it's shipped to your door. I can save you $45 when you use my promo code 880 at urgentcarekit.com/880. Again, save $45 with my promo code 880 at urgentcarekit.com/880.
Long Island is more exciting than ever at Jake's 58 Casino Hotel. This month, you'll be feeling March magic when you win your share of $50,000 cash during our Rainbow Riches drawing. Be here every Wednesday in March from 2 to 7 p.m. Each hour, one lucky guest is drawn to win up to $5,000 cash. Earn entry starting at 12:30 p.m. Come chase the rainbow every Wednesday in March, where Long Island wins at Jake's 58 Casino Hotel.
If gambling is a problem for you or someone you care about, please call the 24-hour toll-free helpline at 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY.
Attention New York Verizon mobile customers. Score a massive win with award-winning Fios Home Internet for an incredible $20 a month guaranteed for 3 years. Switch today for savings you can count on. Call 1-800-VERIZON now. For new Fios customers with AutoPay, mobile and home discount enrollment required. 3-year price guarantee applies to the Fios base monthly rate only. Additional terms apply.
"50 years from now, will jeans be wide or skinny? Will email still exist? Will guac still be extra?" One thing is certain. If you won the new Millionaire for Life from the New Jersey Lottery today, you'd still be getting $1 million every year for life. That's enough money to say, bring it on, the future. I will have that guacamole at any price.
Play the new Millionaire for Life today. Anything can happen in Jersey. Must be 18 or older to buy a lottery ticket. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Hi, this is Don LaGreca. I'm big on having the right game plan on the ice and at home, which is why I use Viking Pest Control myself as the pest control provider and proud partner of the New Jersey Devils. Viking has been protecting homes for over 45 years with expert pest control service and solutions tailored just for you. From ants and cockroaches to rodents, stinging insects, and backyard mosquitoes, Viking keeps pests out of your house and out of the play. Bundle pest control with mosquito services and save big. One call, one company, total peace of mind. Visit VikingPest.com. Viking Pest Control, protecting your home inside and out.
It's Rich Eisen for Pella Windows and Doors. Sometimes teams take a timeout to regroup and call the right play. When it comes to your home, Pella Windows and Doors always has the winning game plan. They do it every day, and that's why your neighbors trust them. Visit Pella.com/Eisen today. Right now, Pella Windows and Doors of New Jersey is offering 25% off windows and doors or 0% APR for 72 months. Some restrictions may apply. See store for details. Offer ends March 31st, 2026.
Adam Schefter here. It's tournament time, when only the most talented teams survive and advance. And whether you're cutting down the nets or cutting through resumes, one thing's clear. The best teams are built with the best people. If you're hiring, you need ZipRecruiter. Their smart matching technology finds qualified candidates fast. You can add screening questions to get the right applicants and even filter to see who's recently active. Score the best for your team with ZipRecruiter. Try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/sports. That's ZipRecruiter.com/sports.
Step inside the game you love with the NBA app. Tap to watch every game as it's happening.
Jalen Brunson does it again!
And never miss a moment of the jaw-dropping action. Get closer to the players than anywhere else. Follow the latest schedules, scores, and stats. Keep up with every story from across the league. And with NBA ID, it's all personalized to you. The game lives here. Download today.
Well, get ready for Rickleball Madness. Tomorrow, ESPN New York is taking over Pickleball Heaven in Medford, New York. Catch a live broadcast of DiPietro and Rothenberg starting at 6 a.m. Then stick around for our social ladder pickleball tournament. They'll crown the champions, then roll right into a college hoops watch party to cap off the day. The tournament is officially sold out, but the event is open to the public, so come down, enjoy the action, and be part of Rickleball Madness. Brought to you by Pickleball Heaven, the new standard of indoor pickleball. All right, so Front Office Sports is exclusively reporting that MLB is getting into the prediction market business through a multi-year deal with Polymarket. So they'll become the exclusive prediction market partner of MLB and will be the only platform allowed to use team logos and marks. Listen, I understand the world we're in, and I understand that a commissioner of a sport has one job, and that's to make the owners the most money that they can. But when you get into the prediction market business, you are tiptoeing into a minefield because you could bet on anything in the prediction market. They could actually, and I don't understand how it works, and I don't know what the regulatory feel is toward it, but on a prediction market like Polymarket or Kalshi, you can bet whether or not Michael Kay is going to say see ya on a visiting team home run. You can bet that. Now, how is that enforceable? How do I not tell somebody that I know, why don't you put like $1 million on the fact that I won't say see it for a visiting home run? How do you regulate that? In prediction markets, they bet on death. Who's going to be the first to die of like older celebrities? Like all of us in a macabre moment, they have death pools. So now it's like real. Like you can make money off that. Like if George Burns was still alive at like 99, he might be the leader in the clubhouse. Oh, he's going to die first. This is what prediction markets are, and for the most part, not regulated. So when you could predict something about people, there was Kalshi had a prediction about Mike Tirico and what he would say broadcasting the Super Bowl. How is this enforceable or at least regulated? I don't get it. I don't understand it. But Major League Baseball is, according to Front Office Sports, signing a deal with them. Weird, right? I just don't know how it's going to work out. Baxter in California. Baxter.
Hey, Michael, can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you great. What's up, man?
Hey, thanks for taking my call.
You got it.
I'm calling you from California. I grew up in Scarsdale. My girlfriend lives in Yonkers and is a Mets fan. And because of her, I have started listening to Mets broadcasts the last few years. And I never really knew Howie Rose's awesome broadcasting. So I was just calling to say that I hope everybody takes the chance to listen to that guy because he is amazing.
I couldn't agree with you more. Now, I have a question for you. You're in California. Your girlfriend's in Scarsdale. How's that work?
She's in Yonkers.
Oh, Yonkers. So how's that work?
Well, my entire family is still back there, so I had planned to move back as soon as my kids were all done with high school. So I got another couple of years. And this just kind of blossomed. She was a college girlfriend, and we reunited after a couple decades. And so now I'm out there every other month or so.
Oh, what a great story. College sweethearts reuniting. I love that. Well, I hope it goes great. And I agree with you, everything that you said about Howie. He's so good on the air. He is. I mean, he's a broadcaster's broadcaster. He's a broadcaster's broadcaster. He's the gold standard. He really is truly the gold standard, how good he is. Let's go to Jason in Inwood. Jason.
Hey, Michael. Thank you for taking the call.
Of course. What's up, man?
I had a quick opinion about the WBC. I actually think it's phenomenal. I know you do as well, but you have some differing opinions, which some guy you were talking to yesterday really got under your skin. I was like driving on the highway, and I was like, man, let me pull over and call Michael for backup. But, I understand how everybody in these countries like in Dominican Republic, Venezuela, South America, their passion for their countries, because that's where they're from, that's where they live, that's where they go home to. So that's where I see the argument, but there's nothing negative to come out of it. It's all just different opinions on what's important to anyone, like between the World Series and that.
Sure.
The other thing I wanted to mention is anybody who has anything bad to say about Aaron Judge, you should never take their calls ever again, unless you want to put it on one of those shows that, you watch videos that no one knows of or sees, or like trains crashing or something. Right. Because the fact that this guy does what he does in this day and age with today's pitching, it's not like he's like Danny Tartable or Ruben Sierra hitting 3-run home runs when they're up 9. I aged myself, but I think you know what I mean.
I'm of that age. Yeah. No, I agree with that, what you're saying, Jason. I don't agree with you don't let them on the air. This is an exchange of ideas. It's like a town hall. That's what I try to make this show. So I don't want to eliminate the opposition. I think we have too much of that in the world right now. So if you feel differently than I feel, well, let's talk about it. Let's see if I could convince you or you can convince me. Hey, subscribe to ESPN New York on YouTube. Stream the full Weekday Lineup live. Watch complete replays or catch up fast with can't miss highlights. Jump into the live chat, react in real time, and make your voice part of the show. Subscribe to ESPN New York on YouTube right now and stay locked in so you never miss a moment. If you missed the Howie Rose interview that we had at 2 o'clock and he took phone calls, which was great, please catch up on the podcast or on the YouTube channel. It was phenomenal. And I can't wait to hear what Don, I know Don loves Howie, has to say about him on the show coming up in moments. Don, Hahn, and Rosenberg. It's been great. We'll talk again tomorrow at 1 o'clock. Can't wait for that. In the words of Billy Joel, life is a series of hellos and goodbyes. I'm afraid it's time for goodbye again. See everybody. Have a wonderful day, and I'll talk to you tomorrow at 1.
Gold is now nearly $5,200 an ounce, and silver is at an all-time high. Now is the best time to cash in on your unused gold and silver by going to the Estates Roadshow. Gold and silver, old rings, chains,